What's going on, y'all? This your boy Teddy Blackman. I'm back with another content creator class, and today we're going to talk about personality, developing your personality. And I know people probably thinking like, I'm a such and such age. I know I got personality, blah blah blah. But I'm gonna teach you how to sharpen up, fine tune your personality to give you the best odds in creating some better content. Make it a little bit easier to network with people, to work with people, etc., etc. And before we get into that, y'all know what I normally do, so y'all gotta hit my theme music.
Welcome to Teddy's Universe, where we get real wild and we put in work. I said,
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So let's get into it. So, according to psychologists, there are five big personality traits that we all are formed upon, which is agreeableness, openness to experience, neuroticism, conscientiousness, and extroversion. So I'm gonna get into each one, and we're gonna talk about things that you could possibly do to get a little better in each field. That'll help you out as far as like creating content, because these little things. Now, me, I'm a very like meticulous person, so I like to do all the little detail things that a lot of people just brush over and carry on with and things like that. I like to do all the little detail things because every little thing matters when you're trying to do, and it's just in life in general. You know what I'm saying? People don't like to think like that, but every little decision does matter. And I know I don't live up to that all the time, but I try my best to keep a routine of it, which is also be one of the traits, matter of fact. So we're gonna get into one, and let's see. We can start with neuroticism, and then swing around. So neuroticism is basically like your emotional stability, and it's how well you can deal with stress. If you're like somebody who gets stressed very easily, you get overwhelmed very easily. You have these things where you get frustrated and you want to quit. You don't want to do whatever you're doing no more. You need to like work on that a little bit. Practicing like discipline and understanding like life is about ups and downs every single day. You're not going to have nothing easy given to you, because if it was that easy, it would be given to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, just little things like, people like to meditate, people like to try deep breaths and things of that nature. And it's obviously there's recreational, smoking and stuff like that, but we're not gonna recommend that on here. We're gonna keep everything like try to keep everything clean and professional driven, so we can give everybody the option to do it. And I don't know, everybody doesn't want to smoke and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that is dealing with like just the way you handle things, basically. Can you handle adversity? Will you fold under pressure? Just things of that nature that a lot of people don't really handle very well. But when you're creating content, you got to understand that there's going to be ups and downs. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be days when you want to quit. It's going to be days where you feel like this ain't going to work out. I need to stop. I need to give up. Blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly when this comes into play, because you need to keep focusing on the bigger picture. You wanted to do this for a reason. You set goals for yourself for a reason. And you have to understand that the goal's not going to happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? There's a million other people out here trying to do what you do. All of them not working hard, but a lot of people are putting in a lot of work too. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just you. So they could catch a break before you do, blah, blah, blah. Just a lot of things that goes into like these situations. So it will overwhelm you and things like that. So you can look up different little ways to try to work on that, but that's what that's dealing with. And if you can develop, you don't have to be like perfect at it, but if you can develop like a balance, or you can develop like a little bit more tolerance than what you normally have, or you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of getting mad at the first situation, you could work towards getting mad at the second situation, and then second turns into third, so on and so forth, until it just takes a lot to get you over the edge emotionally. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like as far as like creating content go, if you can square that away just a little bit, you know what I'm saying, that'll go a long way in your journey to content creating. So we're gonna swing around to conscientiousness. I can't believe I said that right, because that's a word right there. This is dealing with structure and routine. Basically, are you structured? Can you show up on time? Do you have all your tools ready? Are you always ready to work? Do you know what your job is? Can you work hard? You know what I'm saying? Those little details. Do you know the rules and can you abide by the rules and things like that? Those little fine details surrounding like your job or your content creator. When you're ready to make content, if you're a cook, do you have all your ingredients together all the time? Do you know um, do you have like your meal prep ready? Do you have like your food thawed completely or anything like that? If you're a writer, do you have your pens or do you have your typewriter? Typewriter, my bad. This isn't my bad. Do you have your laptop? Do you have your computer? If you're a painter, do you have your brushes ready? Do you have your paint ready? Are you, stencil, canvas, everything. Are you structured and ready to go? If you set boundaries for yourself, are you living by those boundaries or do you just say F it and go? Again, this is completely and very important because in order to grow as far as content creating go, when you start handling like real business, you're going to have structure because when it comes to corporations and businesses and business agreements and deals and stuff like that, there has to be a structure in place. If we say there's a meeting at noon, you have to be there at noon. You can't be there at 12:30. You can't be there at 12:45. Can't be there at 12:15. Me, I'm an early person. Meetings at noon, I'm there probably like 11. You know what I'm saying? That's just me though. You know what I'm saying? So it comes to stuff like that. Now, if you're one of the people who like, you tend to be more spontaneous, so you have a habit of being spontaneous. So then when there's time to be structured, you struggle with it. If you have a game at 9 o'clock and you show up at 9:15, 9:20, you know what I'm saying? That's not only doing yourself a disservice, that's doing the team a disservice, or that's doing your boss a disservice, or that's doing like whoever that you're meeting up with to work with a disservice. You have to be aware of your time, and maybe you don't value your time, but you have to be aware of everybody else's time because everybody else has other stuff that they need to do. People have families, significant others, jobs, other responsibilities that they, divide up their 24 hours in a day to appease what they have to do. You know what I'm saying? So you have to work on those little things. And again, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to, square it away a little bit more than what you probably used to, and it'll take you a long way. Because the more in the business world, in the content world, the more that people start to trust you, the better. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you want to do. A lot of people think you're just going to get on here, you're going to record stuff, you're going to paint stuff, you're going to cook stuff, and then boom, you doing it. But nah, it don't work like that. It's a lot of little things that goes into it, which is one of the classes that we're discussing today. Conscientiousness. What a word. So we're gonna go into extroversion, and this is fairly simple. This is dealing with, basically, to break it down in simple terms, are you an introvert or extrovert? This is basically how you handle yourself around big crowds of people. Can you still be energetic? Can you still be are you outgoing, basically? You know what I'm saying? Now, this is important, but not really important. And I hate to say that something's not important because it's obviously one of the 5 big traits. But when it comes to creating content, a lot of content creators are super introverts, and that's okay. You can make a bajillion types of content within the confines of your home or in a dark alley and at your office job, or you don't have to be around people to make content. And the only people that probably need to work on that is if you're doing like stand-up comedy, or you're going to do something that's going to require you to eventually be around a bunch of people. Maybe you're going to be hosting award shows. Maybe you're going to be at award shows. Maybe you're going to have to speak in front of the president or something, military or something like that. If you see yourself going down a path where you'll eventually need to be in front of a big group of people and that makes you nervous, then that's something that you also can square away a little bit. Me personally, I'm good in front of big crowds of people. I grew up, I did a couple of school plays super early on. Had stage fright then, but after like the second play, I was good to go and been good to go ever since. So I do good in front of big crowds. I could be quiet in front of a big crowd. Whatever the crowd needs me to be, I can be. So That's just when it comes to that. Agreeableness is number four. Again, fairly simple. This is dealing with the structure of society. Um, when it comes to content creating, are you agreed? Like, can you move with the times? Are you reluctant to move with the times? Like when TikTok first came out, a lot of people didn't want to go to TikTok because they thought it was for kids. And then, a lot of people didn't want to drop content on TikTok because they thought only kids was on there. And then it turns out TikTok is probably the second biggest platform on social media, if not first behind YouTube, to put your content on. So when these new platforms come out, are you willing to like evolve or adapt? You know what I'm saying? Are you like a contrarian where you kind of go against the grain all the time? If you are, then you might want to work on that as far as like content creating. Unless that's just if that's your method of content creating, you're good to go. Keep doing your thing. That's fairly popular, booming, etc., etc. But if not, then you might want to work on that because people can and will eventually start to label you as maybe difficult person to be around or work with. And then once you start to get like some negative um, perceptions about you, that's when things could possibly start to go downhill. Now, that doesn't mean, I'm not telling you to care like what everybody thinks about you because you're probably going to get negative perceptions about you anyway. But that's another lesson for another day, another class. But yeah, so when it comes to that, you just work on that. How much in tune are you with society? You know what I'm saying? Do you like what's going on in the streets? Are you in tune with the political stuff? Are you in tune with, the entertainers? Like, what do you agree with as far as like the popular trendy topics go, et cetera, et cetera? This one is, like I said, outside of like something super serious. This one is pretty much okay. This is not really a big deal right here. I don't agree with a lot of things in society. Um, I tend to be politically correct. I try to be as politically correct as I can. Again, that's another story for another day, another class, et cetera, et cetera. And then last but not least, actually, this might be the most important of all five. Openness to experience. Now, they say that the best teacher in life is experience, and I completely concur. Completely agree with this. You have to be open to having experience. Now, in order to grow into the content creative field, you got to be willing to experience new things. And because new things gives you new like thoughts of to be creative with, you know what I mean. And the less experience you have, the faster you'll run out of ideas for your content, and then you could tend to start recycling some of the stuff, tend to get stale, start to lose your momentum and things like that. So you just got to be open to like experience. So if you cooking, try cooking something you ain't never cooked before. Try cooking something that people don't normally cook, something zany, something wild. If you're painting, try to paint something that you don't normally paint. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're painting, try making a wax figure or something like that. Just be open to new experiences. Go out, live, go to the zoo, or go somewhere that you normally, that you normally haven't done, to try to give you new motivation to create something you haven't created. You know what I'm saying? This is the most important thing to me because I feel like when I talk with a lot of people, I often find myself saying like, I get why they don't understand because I just have that experience and they don't. The same thing reverse when somebody explains something to me and I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, okay, well, I need to go try that because they have that experience that I don't have. So maybe I'll understand after I try to do that. You know what I'm saying? So definitely need to be open to experiences and things of that nature because that's where a lot of the creative juices actually come from. Um, Other than that, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? If I missed something, I know I covered all these five and I try to keep the definitions and examples as simple as I possibly can because I know like how it is to get lost within like all these big words and all that fancy stuff and all that. So I try to keep it, as simple as I can for everybody to understand the most that they can. You know what I'm saying? Um, Other than that, if you work on these little things, which is some of them are more important than others, I definitely would agree with. like I said, the agreeableness isn't really like low. I mean, isn't really high on the ranking. Extroversion isn't really high on the ranking. If I had to rank them in order, I would say number one is openness to experience. Number two would be neurotism. Number three would be conscientiousness. Number four would be agreeableness, and then number five would be extroversion. In order like that. Other than that, that's about it. You know what I'm saying? You work on these things, and you will find yourself, routinely, structurally, emotionally, intro or extrovertedly, agreeably experiencing making content. You know what I'm saying? I like how I did that. Give me flowers for it. But yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, drop any comments or concerns you may, any questions you might have. This will wrap up class number 2. As far as like the content creator class going that I'm doing. This is a free course. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm Teddy Blackman, and we are
welcome to Teddy's Universe, where we get real wild and